men shooting multitudes of people. And then it morphed on us, and we didn't even notice. And now it's almost expected that an angry teenager will go get a weapon or go beat someone up or go do whatever. And the media has done the same thing with effeminacy. So effeminacy is now very tolerated, very acceptable, and we are thought to be intolerant if we teach against it. So let me say just the strong biblical position. The strong biblical position, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow, and I think we'll deal with some issues of dress that will apply tomorrow. The strong biblical position is that there is a complement of the female to the male and the feminine to the masculine. But there is never to be a blending of that, ever. It is not to happen with hair. Men cut their hair. Women do not cut their hair. That's biblical. Men dress in masculine ways. In fact, the whole issue of clothing in Scripture, there are not only men's apparel and women's apparel, there are masculine ways. Because if you think about this, and I'm jumping ahead and we'll cover it tomorrow, but people wore robes for the first few thousand years of human history. So, masculine, feminine, what's that? There are masculine ways to wear a robe, and there are feminine ways to wear a robe. We'll talk about it. And it brings us into modern society where our women wear dresses and our men wear pants because there was a masculine way to utilize a robe, and it involved girding the loins. Women are never allowed to do that. So one is feminine, one is masculine. And for a male, now we have no problem telling the ladies, you should not wear that which pertains to a man. Because what is that? That is becoming masculine. Well, in the same way, men should not wear things or do things or act in ways that make them lean toward and blend into the female sex. Because they're doing the same thing. And God says it is an abomination. Abomination is one of the strongest words in Scripture, and we will talk about it in detail tomorrow. But abomination is, if anything was ever an abomination, it is still an abomination. And there are many things in Scripture that are an abomination. Some are an abomination to the Jews. I could care less. I'm not a Jew. Some are abomination to the Egyptians. I could care less. I'm not an Egyptian. But when Scripture says it's an abomination to the Lord your God, oh, I care a lot. And one of the things that's an abomination to the Lord our God is the blending of the sexes. And so, typically, and this is a sad thing about modern society, Brother Lionel, is that even 20 years ago, we had many societal issues, but we did not have that one in the way we have it today. 50 years ago, it was almost non-existent. And so the Bible tells men not to put on a woman's garment. And it tells women not to wear that which pertains to a man. And all of that is the blending of the sexes. So when we talk about effeminacy, we're not only talking about clothing, we're talking about attitudes and actions and whatever. I don't think you can talk about effeminacy without talking about homosexuality, because the two are twins morally. So what I would say is, let's leave that one till tomorrow, until after we've dealt with some of the clothing issues, and then let's come back around to it. And if we haven't dealt with it completely, then we'll come back around to it. But that's really the issue. Effeminacy is the blending of the male sex into the female sex. It doesn't even have to be homosexuality or sexuality to do that. It can be just simply the masculine morphing into the feminine, or vice versa. And when it's masculine blending into feminine, that's effeminacy. And it's dangerous. Metrosexual to me is different in a little bit than that, because it deals primarily with dress. It doesn't deal only with that, but it deals primarily with that. That's the major evidence of it. We will deal with a lot of that tomorrow when we deal with the clothing issues. So with your permission, we'll come back around to it. Very good. I got to say, it's an absolute delight to be with you guys and ladies. I mean, this is a privilege. Want to pick it up in the morning? Have we got anything else? Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm so excited. We're going to have a great time the next couple of days. Thank you for your attention and your engagement in this.